Good morning, everybody. Rainey, I'm so glad you made it this time.
I am too. I've been working on it.
Let's start with you. Tell us just a little bit about you, where you're coming from, maybe how long you've been doing Bible quilting.
Okay, I'm from Houston. I live in Houston. And my sister friend, who's down on the bottom row of pictures, introduced this to me. Gosh, what was it? Just about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Oh, it wasn't even that long, and so much has happened since then.
I know. But so I just thought that sounded so interesting. And so I was planning on a trip to go visit her anyway. So she arranged for us to go over and see you, Diana. So I got into it and I love it. And what better time in the world to be getting into this? It just keeps me focused and centered, and just I love the creative part of it, and I love getting into God's word in a different way. It is so different, and I'm just really enjoying it.
Yay. Well, and I'm so glad your connection worked today. I see Susan in here. Can you hear us, Susan?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Yay. Welcome. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Perranporth in Cornwall, England.
England. So there's going to be a little bit of delay when Susan chimes in, just because of her distance, I think.
Can I just tell Susan we're praying for your Prime Minister?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very, very sad, but they say it isn't pneumonia that he's got. It's just to assist with his breathing. So hopefully it's not as bad as it could be.
Who else wants to pop in and say hi? Or Susan, do you want to tell us how you found out about Bible quilting?
Pinterest. I've been using Pinterest and I saw a picture of Bible quilting, and so those two words came up on my search because I'm interested in both things. So when I saw the page, it was like a revelation. I have ME, and I have difficulty with my brain thinking and understand things. So paying to have the scriptures there is ideal. So yes, it's great. Then I got in touch with Diana through the website. So just quietly, I bought a few books for some friends, and I have invited them, but it might be a bit much for them to join this meeting. But yes, I was hoping that I would get a few more people together. But you know, we're all not very well, so we do it in our own home, and then a couple of us share what we've written. And it's interesting to see how we pick the verses according to how we are really physically and mentally at that time. So yes, it's been really great, and I want to do some more. I just struggle with getting the verses together. It's like, yes, I know that verse, and I can't find it. So it's just basically my brain. So I love the community page. I'm still on the basic Bible quilting. I'm not with you ladies yet on just doing the alphabet, but I love seeing what you do. I think it's wonderful, and I love the way you all share and create things in different ways. So thank you so much for Di and her sister for starting it, and the rest of you for doing your variations. So yeah, that's me.
Yay. Well, welcome. And thank you for your tenacity just to stick with it. We figured out the time change and you made it.
Thank you. Oh, I did. I am so bad with the time change. I always go into the groups just missing them all.
Yeah.
It's already in, it's like, oh, even the ones in the UK. I miss my, the ones that are 9 miles down the road from me. So, yes, great. Thank you, Di. You've been
Yay.
so helpful.
Sure. All right. Who else wants to pop in?
I finally got it.
Yes.
Oh, yay, Stephanie.
Yay, you made it.
Hey.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello. Hi, Rainey. So good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's been a very long time.
It has. It has.
So we're just introducing ourselves a little bit, telling everybody where you're from and how you found out about Bible quilting. And then Stephanie, we're going to come back to you so you can share about your template.
Okay.
Well, you asked if I wanted to pop in. I've known Diana on and off, I guess, for 3 or 4 years now, through my school and through her sons going to school and having different chemistry teachers. And so I went a few times over those years, and then this last year I've spent a lot more time with her, thankfully. And so I've drawn some for her. She's helped me with some major issues in my life, and so that's about it. I don't have mine out just yet, but I still wanted to come and talk and hang
That's
out.
okay. You're here. You made it.
Yes, I did.
It's good to see your face in it.
It's good to see y'all's too. I've missed people so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
And hugs. Even when I get to see someone, I still want to hug them.
Pip, you want to pop in?
Sure. I am from just outside the Portland area in Maine. I just started learning more about Bible quilting, and I'm actually supposed to be retiring at the beginning of May 8th. But I'm working at home now. I never thought that after 29 years of being at the hospital that I work at, that I'd be doing my last days here at home.
Yeah.
But here I am, and I've really just been kind of just doodling and playing around with it. I haven't done anything really formal yet because I feel like with winding down my work and some other things that I'm involved in, I'll have more time after that to really kind of hunker down with it and everything. But I love looking at all of your work that all of you do, and it's very inspirational and very fun. It's a fun way to get into the Word.
Yeah, thanks. Miss Olivia, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Well, I just started Bible quilting like about a month ago, and I've been doing a couple pages. I've been doing a couple pages, and I've really enjoyed it. So.
And you're doing the ABC journal. What letter are you on this week?
I think I'm going to be doing D or something.
Okay.
I'm not completely sure, but
You just finished one yesterday, didn't you, honey?
yeah, I finished this
Want
one.
to show us?
Oh, yay.
On the app. Awesome.
I'm so proud of you. Olivia is my granddaughter, for those of you who don't know.
Oh.
She looks like her mama.
And she's my great niece, if you don't know.
We have a little connection there. And I see somebody is signed in. It just says CBS.
Yes, who is that?
Julie?
Mystery person.
I don't see a picture, and they're
Honey.
not on mute. It could be one of us that are in CBS that logged in separately.
Maybe.
Okay. Who'd like to open us up in prayer this morning?
I will.
Okay, thanks, Fran.
Lord, we are just so grateful that you are on your throne and that you are holy, holy, holy.
Mhm.
And we know that you have total control of the situation. So we can just rest in the peace of knowing that. And Lord, I'm so grateful for Diana and what she has started here. And I just agree with everybody else. It's just helped me to stay focused on what is true and what is real. And so I just ask you to pour out a special blessing on Diana and her household. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, let's start with the monthly. Are any of you guys working on that currently? Or we can do that if you want. Can everybody, first of all, can everybody see mine? I have a page opened up.
I don't know what the monthly is.
It's the monthly Bible quilt where it's a separate journal that I set out so that you could do the 30 days chronologically throughout the year. And so we are on April. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on April. So we're doing 30 days of resurrection. And each day I come in and I just do that verse for the day. And actually we had a Bible quilter in Germany that constructed that list. So I have this list that's on the website, and you can get the download for free. And it has 30 days, 30 verses that refer to verses on resurrection. And so then you take that list. This is the way I do it. I take the list, and then I have this little flip card set. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I write the full verse for that day. And then I might not have enough space on my 30-day template to write the whole verse. So sometimes I will paraphrase it. And that just helps me. It's just a little accountability. Each day I come in, and that's just kind of what gets my juices flowing for that day. And we were talking about it last week, how when you come to a page that you are continuing to work on, it just kind of soaks in a little bit more, because it's really hard to come to a page and then not look at it. So when you look at it again, you're reviewing all of those previous verses that you have in there. And then it's just really cool to see the connections from one book of the Bible to another, and kind of get those different flavors based on the authors. And most of these are in the New Testament, obviously, but on other theme pages, you'll have that blend of old and new together. So it's just still really cool how it all comes together to play on that page, and you get to see it in a way you haven't necessarily seen it before. So that's where I'm at with it. And then there's a template, and these are all templates that are already in the works on the shop. So Rainey, I have a template that's kind of loosely paired with that month, and I may or may not have that template for the same theme, but usually it's kind of similar, but it's pulling out verses maybe that aren't in that. So this is my my cross template. It's just a page in progress as I come across a verse that I want to put in there. And right now I'm conflicted. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the cross. Yesterday I played around with the washi tape because I just like that, how it gave it the background. So at this point I'm thinking I'm going to put a verse here and a verse here. And then do you guys have ideas on what I should do with the cross?
Well, I was thinking about putting like righteousness, putting it down, but like doing righteous, and then
Right down here.
Yeah, and then on the side you do like N, and then the E somehow like end up in the middle, and then do the E there, and then the SS on the other side. That's what I was thinking I would do with it.
Okay. All right.
And I don't have the 30 days, but I did do the cross.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
It's so
And this
pretty.
is alive. And then you did, is that washi, or did you doodle that?
No, there's some washi here. This one I doodled. You know what, Diana, I'm just have been so trying to make it pretty and trying to make it perfect. I'm giving up on that. I'm just going to do it.
Good. Just release it. Just do it. I love to hear that, because I think often that is a hurdle that beginners, they just get stuck on. And when Audra and I were doing a bunch of workshops, we would hear it, we would see it in their faces, and we would just say, flip to a page somewhere in the middle and just start there. And then by the end of the session, they're like, oh, I get it. It's just it's just regular handwriting. And I
You
think
know,
part of
think
it
of
too
this-
is we have to embrace what our handwriting looks like. That's
Right.
us.
I think of this as just being like my diary.
Mhm.
These are my verses and my thoughts, and it's things that are important to me.
Mhm.
I love it.
Yay.
Well, when I started Bible journaling, my first Bible I did, and I was so desperate to do it, I just jumped in. But when I started Bible journaling, that's a lot of people have that fear when they start a new Bible. And you just have to think of it as you're honoring and you're worshiping God with what you do. It doesn't have to, He doesn't want us perfect. And, you know, if you put washi tape over it, it covers it up. I mean, I've posted things on my Instagram that I didn't have washi at night, and I realized later there's a big word messed up that I just wanted to mark through because I was going to put washi on it. So this is you honoring God. And He is thrilled to death that every one of us women, and Olivia, that all of us are in the Word, you know, that we are taking the time to be in His Word, whether it's in this notebook or whether we're just writing it down somewhere. So it does not have to be perfect, because I misspell things all the time. So, you know, that's what's honoring Him, is that you are in the Word and you're honoring Him and doing it. So don't worry about perfection.
Yeah. And what Rainey was saying, it's ours. It's a way of us claiming those verses for us. I mean, we could all do a cross template page, but all choose different verses to put on there. And it really is just where you're at in the Word and what you want to get on that page. And look at
I
Susan.
show y'all
She's
one
raising
that
her hand. Did you guys know that that's an option? If you see her think she's raising her hand. She's so polite.
Oh, where is that?
It's down on your space
Oh,
bar.
reactions. I got it.
Reactions. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Hi, I just thought I'd raise my hand because you said about the speech and the time lapse. So I thought, rather than trying to fit in, sorry, I thought I'd, and I've turned sound off because my cat's purring away and it would be horrible. My biggest thing, as I've said to Diana, is the procrastination. So I have just got to do it. And as Rainey's said, and I'd said earlier, it really is, it's your personal verses. And God tells us to meditate on His word day and night. And I find that this is such a great way to do that, that by the time I'm looking for the words, and I've got my journaling Bible and I've got my journaling notepad, and with the journaling notepad I didn't have a problem because it's scruffy and I can tear out, but my journaling Bible, I was taught to value books, and so I was really frightened to touch that to begin with, but now that I've got into the colouring of it, and our church at the moment is having live streaming on Facebook, and they've got a lock-in at church with a group of families, as they are allowed to have, and they're broadcasting, and people have been painting at home and then they've been showing, and we've said how nature, sorry, my brain is going so sideways. In my journaling Bible, one of the girls had painted a tree, and I knew that in my journaling Bible, I'd got the tree with the roots, and our church has said they haven't got a lockdown or a lock-in or whatever. We are in a period of incubation. So we are, isn't that better?
Yes.
So no lockdown. We are incubating, and I don't know if you've heard there, but in places like Venice, the dolphins are coming back into the waters, and fish are coming back into the seas where there haven't been fish for ages, and the coral is regrowing in the reefs, and our world, God's world, is coming back to life. So as we are all praying and meditating on his word, we are having such an inpouring and fresh revelation from his word. So like where I'd seen a picture of a fig tree, I'm now looking at the roots, what's going on below the ground. I've spent ages, Diane, trying to do a page in the quilting where I put a house on the foundations, and it's too much, it's too complicated, but I want to have the rock and the foundations of Christianity, and then to have the house on the top with the capstone and the difference between knowledge. And I think that in the way of doing the quilting, certainly I've only got my prayer. No, I've only got God's love page.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Love it.
I love that.
I'm really not a washy person.
That's okay.
So I love the colouring. I'm not an artist. That's why it has to be a journaling Bible. But I love the colouring, and as I'm colouring, the words are soaking in. So I am meditating on his word. And I found that I'm spending so much more time in his word. It's like, roots are still in my brain, and, it's getting the moisture. Psalm 1 with the river flowing, and, the water and the nutrients and the sun and everything else. It's there in my head, and I can visualize it. But I love 3D effects. So like for your cross, I just want it to pop. It's almost like I want another layer, and it's like, to have something, even if it was a bit of pergamano or something, just the vellum on the top with the, Olivia, yes, I've done that before, where we've had, he is risen and words going up and down. But yes, it's yes. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. All right, Stephanie.
Well, I loved everything you said, Susan, and I think that your example of the tree and the roots going down, this is perfectly the avenue, which that's exactly what we are doing, is that our roots are getting to go down deep. And I've heard some of the same things that you said. I even heard the other day how the CO2 is the lowest it's been in a long time. And so it's almost like God is replenishing and rebirthing. And it's just really neat to see. But I think the word that really caught me into Bible quilting was the word that's Dinah used a lot last year, was called dwell. And
I just passed that page.
You have a page?
Yes, because
Okay.
my word for 2019 was abide.
Abide, yeah, that was it.
It was abide. So I started with this one. And then, like you said, once you start meditating on it, then you start just kind of continuing that. So then I did abide in my love. And then I ended up doing one on dwell, and dwelling in his word, and adding little bits of cards. And I'm not sure even where that came from, but that, like you were saying, Susan, that kind of gives you a little texture to make it pop.
Yeah. And I think it takes our focus completely off of the things of the world and gets us focused on him. And that's the other thing I love about it too. Sometimes I just don't want to leave it. I don't want to get back into the mundane things of every day. I could stay in it all day and have fun.
Sometimes if I've been working on a page at night and I go to bed, I wake up in the morning and I have a new idea about it. So it really does, once you've got that focus, the Lord is just continuing to work, and it's just beautiful to wake up with an idea about, oh, I want to add that to, you know, my page, and it just draws you right back in, and it's just a beautiful process. Stephanie, do you want to share your goodies?
I will. I just wanted to tell Susan too, the thing that I encourage the people that say I can't do it is that the more creative, when you're creative, the more you do it, the more creative you become and surprise yourself. You will. But we have a group called Monday Night Live, and it started years ago when, you know, Monday Night Football was on. We were all widows on Monday night. So we started getting together once a month, and it's a bunch of us ladies. A friend is part of that group. And so each month we have a different host for whatever we're going to do. And I did February, and I just thought it would be really neat to introduce them to the Bible quilting, and that we would each, Fran, how many are there? 30 of us, maybe?
Probably. We never seem to get all 30 together at the same time.
But what I wanted to do was to get all of us to Bible quilt each of our favorite verses, our life verses, our favorite verse. So one thing that we all enjoy doing is having coffee and chatting together. And I made this template, and it's on the first, I'll read it to you. I'm blessed and my cup runneth over with heart sisters. And so I don't know how, I think I can.
Oh, yes. We see all your bling.
So each of these are, and the other thing that my daughter-in-law taught me was that when she had 3 girls and a boy. So when she had the boy, she always told him that his mom and his grandmom were precious jewels. And so to me, I wanted to add this. So I added jewels to it because that's what I think of each of these ladies. They're precious jewels. So this is the first page, and we still have some missing. And then the next page was just the little coffee cups. And those cups, I encouraged them to put their name or their initial in it and decorate their cup. So that's what we did in February. And that was our little quilting thing that we started.
Those are great. I like
And
that.
the thing that is so neat about it is that everybody wrote their verse on everybody else's page, so you get everybody's distinct handwriting.
Yeah, that was neat.
That set is now available. And what I recently did, because I was trying to write it up for Stephanie so I can release it on the website, I thought I've got my girlfriends in Kansas that I haven't had a chance to see for a while. So I got 3 of them together, and I just did one corner, and I put my name in the little teacup, and I did a verse here. And then I mailed it to all 3 of them. And so they're going to do kind of a little round robin. They're all in the same town. So they're going to pass it around. They're going to add whatever they want to pass it on to the next person. So we'll all end up with an original. And when they've got one page completed, then they're going to send that back to me. So that's my first experiment with Bible quilting long distance, kind of a progressive Bible quilting party. We'll see if that works, if I get mine back or not. We'll see.
We did that with Bible journals. And so I just bought a cheaper one than mine, really, really nice one. And we passed it around with people we didn't really know to different states. And that was neat because you got to see a whole bunch of different art.
Right.
So
that is neat.
And then Mary Jo down the street, kind of along the same line, she did this template. Can you see that?
Yes. Yes.
That is all computer generated. She did a little drawing program, and then I went in and I added a few more stitch lines.
Oh,
so
I like
that. Looks more like a coffee cup. So it kind of depends on how much space you want also. But I like that how she put friendship there. And now in a time where you can't meet your friends for a cup of coffee, it could be that you could, start a page and send it to a friend, and you can decide if you want to just gift it to that person, or kind of like what I'm doing, if you want to do a round robin and there's space there, you can send it to 3 or 4 friends and pass it around, and then whoever ends up with it can make a copy and get it back to the rest of them. So all kinds of ideas.
Yeah, I want to show my one thing. I wish I had the other one. You know, I started these prayer Bible quilts for my grandkids.
Right.
And
yeah.
on their birthday month, I do. This is the first one that I did because it's hers birthday was in February. I just finished Kate's, which was in March, but I don't have it copied off. So I give it to them for part of their birthday card, and then I make a copy and keep it in my Bible. But this was Cassie's, and she likes butterflies, and there's a lot of writing on there. But it's just things like however you want to pray for them. You know, some of their special challenges or whatever, and so you can find a verse and make it personal. Pray their name into it and write it down. And so I gave this to them so that they know that I have this, and these are things I'm praying for them. So that's just another little. Mary Jo has a really cool one. She did a book. It's
Yeah,
really
she did a whole book. She did, she incorporated the ABCs and has a page for every letter of the alphabet. And then I think she does a letter of the week, contacts the parents to kind of help her with that. And then they talk about it. They do a little bit more journaling together. That was just a really fun extension of the ABC journal.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, these ideas, once we get started, because even yesterday, I don't know if any of you saw the post I did on making these vertical. When we originally designed the journal, we intentionally did it horizontal because we have a tendency to write left to right, and you just kind of, you don't know where you're heading, so you have the more room going across. But if you think about, most of the time you write in a spiral or a planner, it's oriented the other way. So she was asking, can you make some templates that are already oriented vertically so I can just tuck some of those in? And I thought, well, let me just go through all of my templates. If you can see, I'm in the shop today because I have a door that I can close. I have like 50, I've lost track. I've got 50 plus templates to play around with. So what I did is I went through and thought, we've got some that can easily be used that way. So don't you see that, how you can just orient it a different way, maybe put one on the other side.
Yeah.
And you could do that with your regular Bible Quilt journals too, if you just want to mix it up a little bit. There's an arrow one. That could be fun. And this is a little patchwork one that Audra did a couple of Christmases ago. And this was one of our originals. That's a puzzle piece. So you could do that either way. And that would even be fun if you wanted to do a spread, put that on both sides. The block and the circle. I think I've showed you guys the circle, that if you do it horizontal, you can do it this way. You can do it that way. And now look, you can do it vertically. So the one that I played with yesterday was this one that Alice created called the Grandmother's Flower Garden. It's an actual quilt pattern because she's an actual quilter. And so this is what I did yesterday, just trying
I love that one.
Go horizontal to do it. And it was so fun just to have a slightly different perspective on it. And I had never done one on Holy Week. And we had several people in the Facebook group that were sharing that. So
cool.
Are those available for us to come by and pick up, Diana?
I can make them available.
Yeah, I would love that.
That particular pattern?
Yeah, and maybe a couple more. I'll message you.
Okay, yeah. So we have less than a minute. So, you know, we always get cut off. So I want to say thank you for joining. And I'm just so glad to see all your faces. And Susan, yay, you made it. I'm just so glad to see your face and have a little interaction with my international pen pal. Anybody have any last minute?
Emma had made the I Love My Community page. She wasn't able to be here, but she wanted me to show you guys.
Hey,
That's wonderful.
that's beautiful.
So Diana, I have a quick question about the reformatting to the vertical.
Yes.
Can we take our existing templates and just switch them around and print them out in landscape portrait instead of landscape, and have it work the same way?
Yeah, I didn't even know if you have to change it different and how you print it out. You would just
Oh,
cut
that's
it
true.
and
Yeah.
because basically that's what you're cutting out, and you're just gonna
You just flip it around.
yeah.